Hello everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 79, and we are ready to rock and roll. We got a big party going on, and we got quite a few guests tonight. We're going to dive right into it here. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host and good buddy, good old Maurice. How you doing, friend?
Hello. Good, you?
Good. So, this week we also have Avinash, as usual. How you doing, Avi?
I'm doing just great, thank you.
And we're joined by the hostess with the mostest, the head streamer, the host of the Reality Skewed Gamers live show every Wednesday on the Reality Skewed Gamers channel, and also the host of the Jedi Academy live streams with me on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. RangerJ1999. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy.
So, let's get right into it here. We discussed this a little bit on Saturday on the Jedi Academy stream. Actually, we discussed it at length, but what are your thoughts about the restrictions here, guys, on the TW characters? I mean, it's kind of the talk of the town. I mean, pretty much everybody's discussing it over the last few days. It seems to be the most debated topic right now. A lot of people are really against the fact that they're going to be banning some of the more popular characters. So, Maurice, we don't have any idea who they're banning yet. There's no like specific list or nothing like that.
No, I think the results are coming out I think it's either the 7th or the 9th. I think it's the 9th.
Okay.
The results. I think the poll closes on the 7th, and then the results will be revealed on the 9th, which will give us 4 days, 5 days until the TW starts on Monday the 14th, I believe it is. Don't quote me on those dates. I don't have the forum post open. I'm just kind of winging it. But basically, you're going to have 4 to 5 days to figure it out as a guild what to do, that's really my only problem with this. I'm one of the very few that doesn't mind this. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be challenging. But, that's speaking from someone with a 4.5 million GP. It's a little different for me than the masses, maybe. But, the length of time that we're supposed to prepare for this is kind of unacceptable. You can't make drastic changes to our rosters like this and expect us to have 50 people organized in 4 days. That's kind of unrealistic, but that's what it is. I mean, this is what it's going to be. So we'll see.
That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, I'm pretty okay with it overall. I'm not one of the people that's super upset about this. I kind of think that anything that they're doing to kind of change the game up a little bit is, in my opinion, okay. I do understand that this is not really like an inventive way to change up the game. Okay, like Ranger actually said this on Saturday. It's that, this is not like a creative way to make things more difficult for us. This is just a kind of a lazy way to make things a little bit more difficult. But it is something different. Like, it's saying that they're willing to make changes, like they're willing to make changes to Grand Arena, which, being that everything that we do in this game has been, once it's released, at the norm forever. Like, Rancor raids have not changed since the day one. AAT raids have not changed since day one. Territory battles has not changed since day one. Territory wars, with the exception of last year at the end when they made those bonuses for Master Windu and General Grievous, didn't have any changes either since day one. So I'm kind of okay with them trying some different things out. But again, I understand that for some people that don't necessarily have a deep roster, I can understand how this is a little frustrating, because if you're focusing on specific characters to be prepared or to be even close to competitive in Territory Wars, if they take all those characters away, there should be some sort of compensated matchmaking for that, so that you're not facing against somebody who's way more prepared than you are or has a little bit more of a focused roster than you do. But unfortunately, because of the way matchmaking occurs in this game, I don't see that happening. I think that you're going to probably, in some cases, get matched up against somebody that you may not be prepared to compete against. And, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, again, we don't know what characters they're going to take out. But what are your thoughts, guys? What do you think, Ranger?
Oh, you know how I feel. I think they've stepped outside of their minds. I think they have suffered brain damage on that scale unseen before. This is by far the dumbest thing they've ever done. They've made some boo-boos in the past. This tops it all. I've never seen a company... I just don't get it. I don't know, how you come up with... How do you take something like this and think that this is fun? Warrior really spoke it eloquently, the position. We're both on the same page about this. You don't take stuff away from people, especially around a game which is about collections, especially things that most people use. It doesn't make sense. It's asinine, and I don't understand. Now, for me, I have a great collection. It's going to hit me in some places, but I can still do pretty well. I've had a lot of people sending me questions in Discord, like, okay, if I lose these characters, I have nothing. What do I do? And I'm like, you can't do anything. You're basically hosed. Some of the other stuff, I mean, the community's outraged. You can see it on the forums. Reddit's outraged. I think a poll that Cubs had done showed like 80% plus of people are just furious about this. I mean, I know it's only one or two territory wars, but it's the philosophy more than anything. It's the idea. Out of all the ideas that you can come up, you came up with this. Justifying it by saying, well, we added some bonuses to the last territory war, and we thought, hey, since Grand Arena is going, we're going to do this. It's like, wait a minute, what kind of math equation are you knuckleheads doing over there, CG? I mean, if you're just going to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, I mean, good luck. I'll go find another game to support. Seriously, I mean, for the high end, not that anybody feels pitiful for Wells, but a lot of characters like Revan, if it gets voted off the island, are going to be like, well, all right, I can't use the character I just spent a fortune on. Other people are at the lower end that cannot compete. They have no chance. It's not about creativity. It's not fun. They have, if you gut a lot of their teams, which is a main source of what they do to try to contribute to their guilds, what are they left with? Gear 6 Jawas? You know, I mean, if you take Finn or JTR away, you know, you're basically left a lot of people just hosed. You know, a lot of these people who are expressing free-to-play have been busting their butt to get some of these rosters that they have at a certain point. And it's not just the characters. It's the gear, it's the Zetas, it's everything. And then to say, just have fun and be creative. Well, no. If I'm going to play chess, I'm here to play chess. I can still be creative with the game. But if you take half the pieces off the board and the queen and say, all right, be creative. I guess I could. It's going to be the same game, and it sure the hell isn't going to be as much fun. So I don't know. I'm pissed off about it. I've ranted enough on it. I think it's a bad move on their part, a very, very bad move. And I think it's, if they go forward with this, I mean, people are saying, well, you should just give it a try, Ranger. No, I can see somebody eating glass and know that I don't want to do that, nor will I enjoy it. You know, I don't have to do something to know that I do not want to do it, nor will I enjoy it. You know, it's that simple. So, you know, good luck, CG, if you go forward with this. From what I've read on the forums and Reddit and from the feedback I'm getting, and it's... there's way more stuff they could do, more fun, more creative to change things up. This is not it. This is sheer laziness. And it makes me my last point. I don't think they played this game at the level and the way that we... I think there's a huge disconnect between the developers and some of the people at CG and the rest of the community. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, you know, you're not a fan, and I understand. I mean, listen, again, coming from a perspective of a player who, you know, has spent a nice amount of money in this game, I don't like the fact that I can't use certain characters that I paid for in a game mode in the game, especially when it's guild related and counts against my team. I can see it being more feasible in GA because, again, you're playing for yourself. So, you know, even if you have a bad GA, it's not really that big of a deal. You're not affecting 49 other people. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I understand that, you know, this particular change may not be thrilling for, you know, a lot of people, and I agree. It's kind of a weird move, but ultimately, do I think that they're going to do this more than once? I think, like, once they get this feedback, I think this is just going to blow over. I think it'll happen one time, and then I think that they'll probably, yeah, if the hate is that strong, they'll probably never do it again. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we'll have to see. What do you think, Abby?
Well, I think it's going to be a consensus that this is just not a good move for TW at all. I can see it happening in GA to a limited degree, but not TW. TW, it's way too difficult to completely reorganize your offense and defense in a very short amount of time, especially in a guild, one of the guilds like mine, which I am the only TW person. And so I'm going to have to come up with all kinds of completely throw everything out and completely redo the entire defense strategy on that. It's okay to maybe redesign the board, maybe enhance, maybe add something, but don't take away. If you take away, that's just going to piss people off, and it certainly pisses me off because some of the stuff that I have worked really, really, really hard on and spent money on is going to be taken away from me, and that's not the intention of this game.
Yeah, I agree. That's
how I feel about it. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I understand. It's again, it's not really. Like I said, it's something different. Which I mean, like I said, I'm always inviting different, but it seems like this is more of just like an attempt to try to make it seem like they're like doing something creative that's not really that creative. So I mean, I understand why people don't like it, and I also understand that some people are going to be for it, some people are going to be against it. Like some people will like it, but again, you know, when it comes to this stuff, whenever you make a big decision like this, or whenever you make a move like this that affects teams, affects the whole player base, you're going to get mixed reviews. Okay, you're going to get people that are for it, people that are against it. You're never going to get everybody that's totally down with any decision that they make. I mean, there's going to be a situation always where you have people that are for it or against it. I just think that this is kind of this seems like a pretty big, there's a large group of people that are not down with this. So I think they're going to get a lot of negative feedback about it.
Yeah, like I said, it's better for GA if you're going to kind of change things up a little bit, but not for TW. It's bad enough that it's a time sink for the game for a lot of it anyway, and to throw this into the mix, it's going to take some major time to be able to re-strategize and figure out what you're going to be using and not using for this.
My officers and MC are just pulling out their hair. I was like,
yeah, it's
I was like, guys.
And like I said, in one of my guilds, I'm the only TW person. So I'm like, oh my God, what the heck am I going to do? Pull an all-nighter, couple all-nighters or whatever.
Well, you're left with a choice if they go forward with it, and once the characters are released, is to either really have to drag yourself with a lot of coffee and with spreadsheets figure it out.
Exactly.
Which is a nightmare. Or just say, you know what, screw it, have fun. But who's really going to have fun? Like, hey, I'm going to go in with my droid team without HK-47B2. I'm going in with IG-100 Magna Guard.
Well,
right.
Let's be real. Revan is not going to be an option, right? Because they left this poll open to where you could vote multiple times.
Right.
And the Revan block includes Colonel Stark, so you no longer have a speed facilitator for your Imperial troopers, right? So there's no more Starks going first and feeding Terminator to the rest of the team. So your Imperial trooper team is a fraction of what it should be. You're losing HK-47 as well. So there goes probably your droid team if you guys have one of those and using them. And then you have Dengar, who is, who a lot of people, that is their fifth bounty hunter. They put in, the 17,000 Carbonies to get Dengar done, and then now they can't use him either. But
right.
I mean, that block, you guys can go ahead and plan on not having that. And that's unfortunate because there's 3 key characters in there, and the Jedi are actually probably the least affected by this block. Like the other 2, I mean, you cripple the troopers without Stark. I don't care. I mean, you got to be really Empire focused and have 130 speed on your Veers or whatever to really get them going like they need to be without Stark. So it's going to be tough. I mean, that's everyone's counter. A lot of people's counter to the Night Sisters. A lot of people's counter to the Bounty Hunters. So I mean, if you don't have them, I mean, let's say that Bosk and crew and all those teams are still an option, and then people field those, and you don't have Colonel Starks for your Imperial Trooper team. You're down a counter. So I mean, you're missing arguably the best team for TW and Revan, and then arguably one of the best counter teams in Imperial Troopers. So that node, that block is tough.
What about the one the devs are doing with Revan and Ness? I'm sorry, Han Solo and Ness.
Yeah, that was
God.
That was brutal.
That one, I'm like, If the devs
watch, we'll get to keep Chewie, but we won't have Han. So you're like, right. Oh, awesome.
Oh, Luke is gone too. Ooh. So, oh God.
Let me ask you, how stoked are you guys about farming Jango Fett? I'm super excited about getting Jango.
I'm working on him. No, I'm working on him.
He's
it will happen one day.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm all in on the scoundrels, so a lot of them are done, so I'm just gearing them now. Like mission's done, Zalbar's done, Kira's been done. I mean, I'm just doing gear on them now, but I'm focusing on Jango, Range Trooper, or these Vander Chewie L3. Because I'd been working on them, but had to stop, do the Old Republic. But now that that's done, oh yeah, all those characters are getting.
I just got
even Embo.
I just got the 6-star yesterday, so I'm like getting close. So I'm excited about it.
It's a great node. It's a great node.
Jango's the last farmable toon that I have left.
He's just I mean, a character that I wanted. I really contemplated buying him. I'm glad I didn't, because I mean, I've got him pretty fast.
That good. He's not that good. He's good.
I don't think,
but he's by no means.
He's
He'll throw people off. He'll throw people off. People will underestimate him, I think.
But I sat there and looked at that marquee deal, and I was like, oh man, Django's so cool. You know, I just you know, yeah. I mean, I get it. He's not worth it, but I mean, it's.
Oh, I disagree. I did some testing with Mist with him.
He's pretty good.
Treya teams, he can not like with him and on the bounty hunter team. He can really. They can take out Treya teams. You know, but not Rev. Nobody can. Revan. But yeah, he definitely can help you take out some teams. I mean, I'm doing him as a second bounty hunter team. I just thought it'd be cool to have a second bounty hunter team for offense, not defense, but offense. I'll leave the boss team on defense, but why not? You know, because they do a lot of cool stuff and they can take out some teams with Django as the lead. So yeah, another scoundrel team, man. Rock and roll, have fun kicking ass with them.
So, DSP, thank you for the donation, by the way. He asked a question a little bit earlier in the stream, just a couple minutes ago. He said, should I Zeta Farm Boy for Territory Wars? And yes, he is serious. So,
slap yourself.
What's Farm Boy's Zeta? I know he had the Tenacity leader.
Oh, let me tell you.
I don't have to look. No, explain it good on Maurice. No, this is a no.
It depends on which one.
I know he has a tenacity leader, right? So I mean, does he get more tenacity, or what is it?
Tenacity and something else.
His unique grants stacking crit damage on his basic, which is actually not a terrible Zeta for the raid, but the like PvP battles, and even it doesn't carry over in between territory battle phases either. It's just the battles aren't long enough to see any sort of benefit of it. It's not a good Zeta. I mean, I have it and I like it, but if you have a developed farm boy, you know, without the Zeta, gear 11, gear 12, he is excellent under a gen lead because he has a dot on his basic, and because that dot's a debuff, you know, you have a chance to expose them as well. And every time he uses basic attack, he feeds himself a good chunk of turn meter, so he goes a lot. So he can distribute some damage through exposes that way. So I mean, he's not terrible. I mean, there's better rebel options for sure, but I mean,
we've theory crafted farm boy led teams with the tenacity leader for like 3 years now, and I can't think of anything that works or that would ever work. But I mean, to be honest with you, what a horrible addition with the Zeta. I mean, like, advantage for 2 turns, really?
Yeah,
I mean,
the leadership is awful.
Why advantage? I mean, who cares about advantage for the rebels? That makes
because
sense.
Because it's on Tachi Station to get some power converters.
That makes sense. That makes sense a little bit. I mean, if he was like first order, but I mean, like advantage for the I mean, I don't. If it was like, let's say, every time they resist a detrimental effect, they gain 10% turn meter, that would be an awesome leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be something to think about. At least it would put a thought in my mind. Okay, 10% turn meter for every detrimental effect resisted. I would think to myself, like, okay, you know, maybe you throw, maybe you throw some tenacity mods on them. You know, you throw out a good team out there, you know, like a team that has high tenacity already. You resist a lot of detrimental effects, especially against, like, let's say, Sith teams, and you get, you know, tons of turn meter. That might be cool, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, not good. But yeah, no, I would say definitely don't Zeta the leader. If you're gonna Zeta anything, like Maurice said, maybe the unique, but
it's not. You're not gonna see much benefit at all in the course of, you know, a 4 or 5 round arena battle. Like, it just doesn't. You don't have enough time to stack it. Now in the raids, you know, Han Solo is probably better in every situation, but you can substitute in a Zeta Farm Boy Luke for, like, you know, people use Asajj, people use Han Solo. You can sub in CLS or a Farm Boy. Farm Boy won't remove turn meter, but he will grant himself turn meter. It's not near as good, but it's serviceable. But that costs a Zeta to replace a character that's better. That's not really.
I can't believe I can't believe that for 2 years this was the only Luke Skywalker that we had in this game. You know, I can't believe that we literally had this guy. And I mean, it's like his he is Luke Skywalker. So his kit, this kit is awful. Okay, the only thing cool about him is that he stuns. That's it. That's it. He was kind of cool for the Empire's military might event because he could stun Palpatine, like way back in the day when there wasn't like a million other options. You know what I'm saying? But like, but I mean, there's no other reason to use Farm Boy Luke in this game unless you're in Territory Wars and every other character is completely gone and you're desperate. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, do I think that there is some value there in that that unique Zeta? I think more so than the leader, and maybe down the road after you have like a million other Zetas, but I would not waste a Zeta for one Territory Wars.
No.
No.
Don't ever, never, ever do that for this character.
No.
Well, if
nothing else.
If this polling thing is going to be a constant, the characters that aren't included in this poll aren't necessarily going to be excluded from the next poll too. So, like, if you're thinking maybe, well, Farm Boy's not on any of these lists, maybe he's a good investment. That does not mean he won't be included in a future poll.
Right.
So, if that's the case, if there's going to be a consistent list of excluded members, then the value of it might go up a slight hair bit. But I mean, just I wouldn't gamble on anything for TW until we see exactly what their plans are.
No.
Everyone seems to hate it, and like the vast majority of people really hate this change. So I mean, like Ranger mentioned, Cubs Fan Hog putting out a poll. The more of you guys that respond to that, the more viable or valuable that poll becomes. And again, Cubs Fan Hog can present it to the devs, and there will be no discussion like they had in this post where it's like, oh, the community loved the Mace Windu General Grievous. I mean, I didn't take any poll on that. Like, I didn't get my opinion on that, So
right.
If you guys do, regardless, even if you like it, I mean, you guys should really utilize your voice, post on the forums constructively, take these polls. That's really all you can do. I mean, this is what it's going to be for the 14th. There's no changing it. Like it, love it, whatever, hate it, whatever the case is, it's coming on the 14th. So,
I would say that you would because again, we don't like Maurice said, like Ranger said, that there's no guarantee that they're going to ever do this again. There's no guarantee that they're going to do it in the first place. They could change the whole plan. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't make any moves until you know for sure that this is going to be like a staple and this is going to be happening. But listen, guys, they do not want people to hate the game or be upset about anything. They're not doing anything that they're doing to make people mad. Okay, they want people to enjoy the game. They want people to have fun. They wouldn't be doing this unless they actually, in their heart of hearts, thought that it was a good decision. So believe me, giving feedback is the best thing that you can do. Getting on polls, like Maurice said, like Cubs Fan Han's poll, and saying that you don't like it. Getting on the forums, telling people that you don't like it. Sending messages to the developers directly on, letting them know that you're not pleased about it is the best way to go about it. They'll take the feedback, and if they really feel like the majority of the player base is not happy with it, then they will make adjustments or they'll change it. I mean, this is a game where I have to say, more so than any other game I've ever played, they actually do care about what people think. TMoney just donated $5 Canadian for us to not talk about Farm Boy Luke anymore.
Hey, 5 cents.
Yeah, you're going to have to give us way more than 65 cents to change the topic. I'm sorry.
Also, we got a donation from... thank you very much, T. Thank you. We also got a donation from Thane Kyrell.
Oh, God.
And he was... asking us,
my God,
when are we getting the Eternal Twins?
I knew it. No,
I'll pass it off to Ranger on this one. So, Ranger, when are we getting the Eternal Twins, Ranger?
After I go shove my foot up Thane's ass. So far, he's tasting leather for a week.
Oh no!
I knew you could do this. Oh, he's such a dirty prostitute thing. Damn it! He finds me. He finds me. So,
yeah, no, I would love to see the Eternal Twins. I mean, I'll I'll tell you, it would be awesome. Do I think that that's happening anytime soon? Absolutely not. Maurice, did we lose you altogether, or did you just turn off your camera? I think we lost Maurice.
Well, unless he turned into a handsome black man with dreads and a white goatee.
I'm just gonna get rid of that. But hopefully he rejoins us here in a few moments. But I think he just turned his camera off because if he was,
yeah, I was having a coughing fit. I didn't think everybody wanted to see that. It was
okay.
Sorry about the choke to death. I'm back.
That's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right. But yeah, so as far as the Eternal Twins are concerned, I think that.
Oh God, are we really talking about them?
I would love to talk about them. Honestly, I love they're amazing characters. I mean, listen, will we ever see them in this game? I don't know. Honestly,
Vexen and Thexen, yeah, they're great.
Listen. I think that there's a lot of characters that they're yet to put out into the game yet. I still think we're going to get like some more First Order characters, like Snoke and stuff like that. That's happening. We're definitely getting, I think, some more Old Republic characters eventually. But I think that we're going to get Revan, Malik, probably. I mean, if anything, we would get, I think, the Emperor Vitiate before we would get the. Oh, 1 second. I think we would get the Emperor Vitiate before we would get the Eternal Twins. So, basically, we're just. I think we're ways away from that. Do I think it's a possibility at some point down the road? Absolutely. Do I think it's happening anytime soon? No. I think that we're looking at probably. I think we're probably looking at least a year or two before that happens, which is good because I mean that means they still have they still have a lot of time to release characters. I mean, like I think that we're going to get some other characters too. I mean, me and Ranger can probably talk about this for 3 hours. So we're gonna.
No, not really. No, not really. No, let's move on.
But thank Kyrell said he's a regular listener of my show. This was just his lucky day to catch you on here too. So.
Yeah, right, stalker.
But all right. So moving along. As far as that goes, I want to talk also a little bit about the upcoming month and what we can expect from it. So, I mean, I know that there's been some speculation, and I think some well-founded speculation that we're getting the Millennium Falcon here in the next few weeks, if not the next week or two. I mean, what do you guys think? I think that if we were going to get it, it would happen by the end of this month, and I think that they're going to put us on the hot seat to get some of these the bounty hunter ships probably in the next few weeks.
Well, I mean, Boba is the login. Boba's ship is the login, so, I just hope it's a legendary, not some 7-star hero ship journey. Like, that would be pretty bad. 5-star, I think I can get. There's 0 chance of getting 7-star. Not gonna happen in a month.
I don't think they would do a hero's journey because we already have so many versions of the Millennium Falcon. I think it would be kind of stupid to do a hero's journey of the Millennium Falcon.
What if you had to have all the Millennium Falcons to unlock the Millennium Falcon?
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that'd be tough,
especially
for a newer player, because the old school Millennium Falcon isn't exactly an easy farm. I think that's a hard no too, isn't it? I mean, it's been a while, but the new one is in the fleet shipments. You predicted, Ramon, a few weeks back it's going to be the smuggler cargo ships.
Yeah,
and that could be very feasible too, because Boba's one of those as well. And Houndstooth is tough, and Lando's Falcon, I believe, is one of those too. That's still a tough farm. So that one's not going to be a gimme, even if it's the cargo ships. I mean, you're not going to beat anything with just the 2 Ghost and Phantom. Like, you are going to need them all. You probably will need Lando's Falcon because they really do lack damage as a faction. But
That could be a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do think that we're getting the Falcon here soon, and I think it's going to be. I think it's gonna be bounty hunters, to be honest. But I think that's gonna be the harder farm ultimately. I think that they're gonna make it probably as difficult as possible, and I think it's gonna be an awesome ship. I mean, like whenever I know they've probably been planning this kit for a while, and whenever it drops, I'm sure it'll be a sick ship. I'm sure it'll be probably a game-changing ship. Probably the best ship in the game, hands down. I mean, there's definitely a good cause or good reason to bring out a legendary ship, because we haven't had one, with the exception of like the Chimera as like a capital ship. So it'd be nice to see like a regular ship as like a legendary ship that kind of dominates the meta for a while. But you know, it'll be behind a paywall, and for those of us that aren't prepared, it'll be you know, one of those things. But there are some people that instead of getting Revan, they are more into ships than they are into the other part of the game, and they've been farming bounty hunter ships and getting prepared for this for a while. And just like Revan, there'll be people that are getting the Millennium Falcon as free-to-play players. I guarantee it. So,
well, I think the ship will be good only if the hyperdrive is fixed. If the hyperdrive hasn't been fixed and Lando screws us, then I think we're hosed.
Okay.
Well, basically all it needs to do is just have an uncleansable buff immunity on it, an AoE buff block. That way all these people running mace fleets can, you know, just cry about.
Or it has an escape ability called Into the Asteroid Field, and a bunch of asteroids pop up and kill the other ships, especially if they're TIE fighter pilots.
I bet you it'll have a synergy with Breach.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
No data for you.
Breach will be in there, and it'll make the Houndstooth even better. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that brings us to okay. DSP has a question here. Will the OT Falcon have the Rebel tag? Rest in peace, AD Akbar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so, I think it will.
Yeah, I think it will have the Rebel tag for sure. You know, I think that'll increase the viability of Rebel ships as well. But yeah, it'll definitely have the Rebel tag. It'll definitely have the cargo tag. It should definitely have the Scoundrel tag. Are there Scoundrel ships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I just said that immediately without even thinking about it. I don't know. Let me look.
Let me look here. Yeah, there's a Scoundrel. Yeah, Scoundrel. And to be honest, I think it'll be an attacker ship, too. You know, I don't think it'll be a tank. I don't think it'll be anything else. I think it'll be kind of like... it'll be an attacker like the Millennium Falcon Episode 7. So...
It'd be nice just to get an attacking ship without all the bells and whistles and multiple attacks. Just give me a ship that hits hard.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want it to come in and swoop in and do like these long animations, do like just loops around the whole team, drops a bomb, loops around the whole team, the ship dodges, loops around, like takes 4.5 minutes for the ship to take its turn. It's like if you bring it off the bench at the very end of a battle. It's like,
right.
You're going to time out if you use that ship. There's less than a minute left. Like, you're just like, oh.
True.
It's great.
I just want the music. That's all there.
Yeah, but I do think it'll have the Rebel tag, DSP. Again, thank you for the donation. I love the theme songs when they release certain, like remember when Thrawn came out, like that music, like when you were starring him up to like 7 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always forget to turn the music on, man. I forgot for C-3PO too, and I think he did something fancy.
Yeah, and they like like the Ewoks have it, and like all the cool, like the different characters. You got to do it for the Millennium Falcon whenever that comes. I think it'll be cool. So, but yeah, I think C-3PO had something different too. But all right, that's gonna bring us to the meta report. So this week we're actually gonna do something a little bit different. We're going to do the meta report for characters, and then we're going to do the meta report for ships as well. Now that they've added the ship meta report to SWGOH.gg. They also have a mod meta report now as well. And once I figure out a real interesting way to kind of discuss that, we may dive into that at some point down the road as well. But for now, we're going to take a look at the top 10 leaders at rank 1 in Arena. And we have Jedi Knight Revan at number 1, with Trey at number 2, and CLS basically dominating the top 3 spots. CLS seems to have seen a significant increase here because of the many more people now that have acquired Chewbacca since the recent event at the end of December. So we're seeing a lot more CLS in Arena. I just faced one myself a few moments ago. We're seeing some Finn out there as well. So Finn is seeing some increase. Finn is actually the number 5 leader in Arena right now, behind Emperor Palpatine. So Palpatine is basically fading away. And we're seeing a lot more, CLS and Finn kind of there at the end of the meta, with obviously the domination being primarily through Traya and Revan. I mean, is this what you guys are seeing? You guys seeing some more CLS out there?
I am, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which is nice because they're super easy to take down.
And I think Maurice is one of those 7 Asajj Ventress over there at the end.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. That was a long time ago. If I didn't have Revan, perhaps, but I mean, I'm not going to struggle every single fight with Asajj when I can just.
You'll struggle and you'll like it, young man.
Listen, if you're dominating a Revan arena meta with Asajj Ventress, my hat goes off to you. Okay.
You just need lots and lots of those health circles at 6E. You can do it, but
with protection, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're definitely dropping in that meta. But that's our top 10 leaders at rank 1 in Arena. We're going to move on to our top 10 squad members at rank 1, and there is a change. Again, majority of the top 10 is similar. Top 3 is the same: Grandmaster Yoda, Jedi Knight Revan, Charlie Bendo, General Kenobi, Bastila Shan. Then we've got Grand Admiral Thrawn, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, Darth Traya, and then Chewbacca squeezes into the top 10 at number 10 in the top 10 squad members here. So again, a lot more Chewbacca. I think a lot more CLS, because of that. So you guys have seen a lot more Chewie out there. He's one of the top 10 squad members at rank 1 right now.
That's right, Chewie. You are in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he is. I mean, more people are getting him now too. I guess a lot. Those that missed him the first time around got him now.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's very, very good with C-3PO. He is a rebel, so he exposes, and whoever he's guarded, he assists, and pops there, exposed, and exposes again, and gets the train roll. That's why we saw Finn in the leaders. Will that stick? We'll see here about a week or so what CG has come up with for the fix for that. So I mean, if you guys are considering Zeta Finn, and you don't have him already, do not do it until they make some sort of post. How they're going to fix it, because I mean, right now P3 you can auto the raid with Zeta Finn and C-3PO. It's silly. It's definitely broken. Just what they're going to do to fix it is unknown.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's our top 10 squad members at rank 1. Again, not much difference. The only change here is really that Chewbacca squeezes into the top 10 and kind of bumps Bastila Fallen out of the top 10. Now
he's junk.
Now we're moving on to our top 10. Well, our rank 1 leaders for ships, and that's our capital ships here. So as you can see, the Chimera dominates the pie here, pretty much as the number 1 rank 1 leader for ships, followed by the Executrix, then the Endurance, and then Home 1 has a small slice of the pie up there. What do you guys think about this? You think that the Chimera is the best leader right now for ships?
I think it's interesting that he's got such a big piece of the pie. because I know that the meta for quite a while was definitely Tarkin's ship, and Akbar, and then Endurance was a teeny weeny little sliver at one point, and now it's kind of nice to see that has expanded, and that the ship is being used more than even tons more than Akbar's ship. Chimera is still an excellent ship. I just recently switched back to Chimera right now to be able to deal with some of the team lineups that I've been seeing in Arena lately, because I keep dropping way down and I had a hard time climbing back up. So I switched to Chimera, and I seem to be having an easier time being able to move up into top position now.
Okay.
Yeah. The ship meta is pretty much Chimera. There are some that are running Executrix. I think that's lower, newer. Those leaders are newer shards. But I think endgame is either Chimera or Endurance stall out teams with HT and the rest with Anakin's ship, or they're going Chimera with HT and a combination of other ships in the lineup. That's basically all you see. You've seen in my shard. That's pretty much what everybody's running. So Endurance, I think, is going to start climbing up here and overtake Executrix in the next couple weeks as more people get their HT up and their ETAs up and care about ships. You're going to see a climb by Endurance, because those timeout teams are annoying, and they are fast on the rise.
Well, it's only going to get worse once Anakin's ship is farmable.
Yeah,
Anakin is the piece. I mean, it's not a coincidence that everyone started using Endurance once Anakin's ship was released. Like, that ship is phenomenal. That and the Houndstooth, probably the two best ships in the game. You know, and they fit under Endurance, because, I mean, you can just constantly put the taunt, put crit immunity on Houndstooth. If he's not taunting it, give it back to him. You know, you give everything protection up, retribution. You can't stick anything on Houndstooth. You can't stick, your breach on Houndstooth at all, because he just sheds it because he's on a counter. It's extremely infuriating. You got to get... There are counters to it, but, I mean, there's ships that a lot of people don't have, like Kylo's shuttle. Like, you get max that out, and it's a great counter. You know, even the
Cassian,
Reaper.
yeah, Cassian's a great counter to it, because he comes in and removes all the buffs and shit to it. There are ships out there that can counter it. I use them, but yeah, there are certain ships you have to be able to do it. I mean, two ships that shine three. Vader's ship, Cassian's Ewing, and Poe. Poe comes in and just starts nuking fools. And if you got your silencer still up, then I don't care what protection they have. Those ships, once they start getting ramped up and doing their thing,
yeah, everyone's, kind of riding this. The Lando's Falcon's awesome. Yeah, it's great, but Poe still does more damage. And it's one shot, So, I mean, absolutely. You can come in, if you got the pieces on him, the Gear 12 pieces, put some 6C mods on him, he can come in and blast you for 140k off the bench. That's a lot of damage. I mean, that can take out pretty much any ship, especially if it doesn't have any protection. That's a guaranteed one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's our top capital ships here at rank 1. Now we're going to take a look at the top squad memberships at rank 1, and this is kind of interesting. So the Houndstooth is number 1, obviously. The Chimera is number 2. The Imperial TIE Fighter is number 3. The TIE Advance, number 4. The Executrix is number 5. The TIE Silencer is number 6. The Geonosian Soldier Starfighter is number 7. With the Xanadu Blood at number 8. Geonosian Spy Starfighter at number 9. And then the Umbaran Starfighter at number 10. So some of these ships wouldn't have thought would be in the top 10 at rank 1. But, what are your thoughts about... pretty much the Imperial TIE Fighter and the TIE Advance still kind of holding that top spot for the regular ships?
it's a counter to Houndstooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you get those 6E mods on those ships, they can withstand some of the AoE. Use buff block Houndstooth and blast them out of the sky immediately.
Well, one combination is TIE Advance, because his basic, once you get it Omega, is going to hit every time. So you target block Houndstooth, and then if you have Silencer in there, you're just ramping him up, and his hits start really knocking the crap out of Houndstooth. You don't even need your big hit from Chimera. And then TIE Advance, or regular TIE Fighter does, his stuff. So it makes sense. I mean, the Geos are still part of this. The ships in there, they're still viable, especially since people are running Houndstooth in the starting lineup with Sunfat coming off the bench now. So that's another fleet that you still see running around. So, but yeah, the TIE Fighters, guys, farm them. They're really, really good.
Yep, I agree. I use the TIE Silencer quite a bit against a Houndstooth, and that thing kicks some tushy.
Yeah.
The TIE Silencer and Poe's ship are really the two big damage dealers in the game, in my opinion, right now. But I also don't have Anakin's ship, so I don't know how good that is.
Oh, it's sick.
Oh, it's nice.
I mean, I have it, but I'm saying I haven't really tested it out at max. So I mean, I still think that Poe's ship and the TIE Silencer are probably the two biggest, hardest hitters in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's our top 10 squad members at rank 1. Obviously, if you're trying to put together a ship meta team, you can only need to look here and pick a couple of these ships out to put together a top 3 squad. Just kind of work on what you're looking at, and also kind of forecast for the future. Like Maurice said, coming here in the near future, we're going to be getting Anakin's ship free to play. So whenever we find out where that's going to be farmable, whether it's out of a hard node or a ship node, you're definitely going to want to go and start farming that ship immediately if you're a big ship person and that's important to you. But that's it. We're going to go now into our top 5. So this week, we're going to be doing top 5 attackers in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We haven't done this one in a while, and we feel that the list has changed considerably, and we're going to take a look at some attackers that you probably haven't looked at in a while. So Maurice, who do we have here at number 5?
Number 5, I believe, is going to be young Han Solo, correct?
Yes.
We're on the same list here, yes. Young Han Solo is number 5. And a lot of you guys are like, why is young Han here? Because if you put that Zeta on him, he's got a 70% chance to assist any scoundrel during their turn. So that's 70% of the time, if he's prepared, he is going to just go ahead and assist for 20k damage. Depending on how you have him modded over the course of a battle, you will see him just deliver probably the most damage on your team. And then he's got his just in time. It's a very big one shot. I remember these characters first came out. Ramon here ran him in the raids, and I remember you getting super excited when Han Solo come in and just like drill the Rancor for 250k on that just in time. Just a big damage dealer, a lot more durable than he looks with all the protection regeneration. Good damage. Doesn't need a lot of speed because he does stack his own speed, so you can really go tanky, or not tanky, go really heavy on the offense, get him hitting hard. He does require Zeta to make this list here, but a lot of these characters do. So he's an interesting one, especially if you guys are really into the raid scenario, like the raid environment. He's always going to be a nice option for raid teams. He's a safe investment if you guys are into the PvP part of it, or PvE part of the game.
Right, and part of what we're looking at here are some of the highest damage attackers in the game. It's not really something that we've done very frequently, and it's one of those things where this guy could just hit like a truck, and as he continues to stack, he can be such a huge raid character, like Maurice said. Once you get, I don't know if you guys have ever seen McMole take him through the AAT raid, but once you get him ramped up and going, I mean, he's doing, what is it, like 200-300k every shot?
Easy, yeah. Yeah, because he's got that stacking offense and crit chance when he starts with the protection, and he gets protection up a lot over the course of the battle. He can really hit hard. Really hit hard. Definitely
one of the best raid characters in the game, and he's again, I think it's kind of early. He's got scoundrel tags, so I think that over time you'll see some more use out of him in other areas of the game, like Arena. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I think that at some point you'll see him be a more viable character. You know, again, he's just you know, probably waiting for somebody that can really work well with his you know, scoundrel tag. You know, but again, he's just he's a decent character. Somebody you could probably use in TW, maybe with a Django Fett, or you know, somebody else that can you know, increase his viability. But he's definitely you know, okay on a prepared team. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the prepared team as a whole. I know Maurice is, but I'm not. So I think that overall, though, he's definitely an interesting character. What are your guys' thoughts, Ranger, Avi?
I like him. So many people put him down and saying he's such a bad character. Don't use him on the scoundrel team. Don't use him for anything. He's really not that great. But I found that he's actually very, very good, and he synergizes really well with everybody else. I like his big hits. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to be able to take down something that's extremely annoying in the first place. I really kind of like the character. He's not as bad as what people say.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Ranger? What do you like Young Han, or is he?
He's soft. He wouldn't be on my list. He can do, as you said. I look at Young Han like this: PVE, he's great. PvP, you're giving it to win a team a win. He does So I agree. PVE, he rules. PvP, no,
not so much. Yeah.
No, territory wars, or it doesn't matter. He's that one. Even in the Cure lineup, he's one I'd leave out in the background. But
yeah, you don't want to put him on defense.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, no.
No. That's our number 5 attacker, or high damage attacker in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We're going to move along now to our number 4. And here we have the other Han Solo. Raid Han, the original Han. The OT Han, if you want to call him that. He is probably one of the hardest hitters in the game, if not the hardest hitter in the game. It depends on how you mod him, of course. Obviously, you want to give him a high crit chance so that he gets to go again with his Deadeye shot special. He also gets the opportunity to go first, which is awesome. I mean, obviously, being able to ignore taunt and then stun the first character to start the encounter is a huge benefit in a lot of matches. So he can be a great addition to Arena, a great addition to a raid team, a great addition for TW and pretty much every area of the game. He is also a fantastic addition to a Chewbacca team because every time he gets called in to assist with a Zeta, he does do a double attack, which can add up to a lot of damage, and he just hits really hard, and he's definitely one of the best attackers that's ever been a part of this game.
I agree, definitely. He is killer on a CLS Chewie team, and he always gets that little guard thingy or whatever it is on him. But I make sure that once I take down Chewie, that he's the first one that I can take out, because he can do some massive damage even to my Revan team.
For sure. What do you think, Maurice?
Well, now we got C-3PO in the game, and Rebels exposed their basic. Han Solo here double taps on his basic, so expose, pop the expose again, and then Chewbacca can come in and pop that expose, land another expose. So you're dealing massive damage. That giving Rebels expose their basic attack was not a good idea for C-3PO. That really broke the game. It's a little silly how hard these Rebels hit now, and then you can make they're kind of dual synergy now with the Resistance, which doesn't make any sense. But I mean, hey, why not? So he just huge damage. Deadeye, you attack it, turn meter back, then you can double tap. So I mean, if you mod him purely for offensive crit damage, you're looking at 100k damage between those that combo there. So and that doesn't even include Chewbacca's damage. So that's really big burst damage. Really can knock an attacker opposing threat out immediately. So I mean, everyone has this character. Everyone should have him Zeta. It's one of the best fundamental Zetas in the game. It's just big damage. Kind of squishy, but He does have nice health steal, so if you do invest in some of those circle health mods, put the health primary on him, he will get a big chunk of that health back from all the attacks he does. So he counters as well. So it's great character.
But yeah, that's that's a pretty, I think, a pretty safe bet there. I think that was a pretty obvious one. But moving along to our number 3 high damage attacker in the game. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 3 is going to be First Order Executioner. This character probably... Now, this one is pretty faction-oriented, this character. These previous 2 characters, can deal damage. I guess Young Han is faction-oriented as well, but First Order Executioner, I don't think there's a character in the game, maybe besides somebody that's clearly going to be above him here, that generates more damage over the course of a battle. You put the health, you get yourself a 60 health cross, a 60 health circle on him, and he's just dropping 60k over and over and over again. That 3 versus 3. I mean, this guy might be the best attacker in the lot for 3 versus 3 Grand Arena we had. Build him up a little bit, make sure he's got advantage, and boom, 1, 2, 3. You eliminate the whole team. He's unreal how much damage he can generate. They released this character, didn't look that appealing to me. Then I started using him, and he's just health based on max health. He stacks his max health. If you can keep him alive, he can pretty much one-shot any character in the game. Yes, your First Order Executioner needs gear, omegas, and mods. I don't know of any other character in the game that I can generate, 100k plus with one special attack, like First Order Executioner. I mean, it's crazy.
He gets it going. I'll tell you, you face a First Order team on defense in TW, and I mean, you got to get him out of there, because I mean, he is somebody that can really start to, stack that damage and start, knocking people out. So, I mean, like, if you get focused or stuck on, let's say, a taunting First Order Stormtrooper or taunting Kylo Ren, you can kind of get, distracted from First Order Executioner, and he'll just slowly start wiping you out. And he's definitely somebody you want to get out of the way as quick as possible. He's a relatively, I would say a relatively easier character to gear up, right?
He's not terrible to gear. He takes weird mods. Like, if you're going to really maximize this character and get him to where, everyone in the chat's having a temper tantrum that he's number 3, but if you guys really get the mod loadout for him, you have to build him. You do have to get pretty specific mods for him, and if you get those mods, he's unbelievable.
Cheerio.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck and number 3.
But
I think I couldn't hear those. I don't know what he was whispering there. But
listen here, I know the Force. It's all true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's yes. This is my First Order Executioner for all you guys out there. So yes, it's Gear 6. Yes.
Yes, when
I love that they're going off about he mods in his gear. Not that it's just a picture of Executioner.
I'm looking at it going, where's the mods?
Ramon's that guy that
Where's the Omegas?
places his Phasma team on defense when the guild calls for First Order.
No. I have listen. First of all, my First Order team is swell. Okay, I have a good First Order defensive team. All right, I just don't listen. He is the best option for First Order, definitely. And don't get me wrong, I contemplate gearing this guy up all the time. There's just other priorities. He is definitely up there. But I have a 7-star Gear 12 First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Officer, Kylo Ren Unmasked, Kylo Ren. I have double Zeta Kylo Ren Unmasked, Zeta on regular Kylo Ren, and I have a Zeta on First Order Stormtrooper. So
I don't have Executioner. You fell.
But for some reason, because I don't have Executioner, I suck. So
well, in your defense, if we made this list in 2016, First Order TIE Pilot would be here at number 3.
listen, you have to understand. You have to understand.
Oh no, he said 2016 called and wants his character back.
You have to understand the love that I have for First Order TIE Pilot. Okay, because I mean, I farmed First Order TIE Pilot forever, and I wanted to have that guy. When he was awesome, when the game like first dropped, I so wanted to have a triple tapping First Order TIE Pilot. I finally got him done, and he sucked, and I was so disappointed, you know. And it was horrible. But I mean, anytime I can shoehorn in First Order TIE Pilot, he goes in there. Okay, and you know, thank God he has a decent ship.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was one of those things where, yes, 2015, before Protection, when Qui-Gon Jinn Leader was the way, I loved First Order TIE Pilot. Yes.
Rewan, here's a shovel so you can keep digging yourself further in this hole.
Listen, it's okay. I have no shame. Okay? I have no shame. I love First Order TIE Pilot, and it's okay. I mean, I'm going to gear up my Executioner now because I feel like
you, buddy. You do you, buddy.
But yeah. So Executioner definitely needs some love. But I appreciate you guys completely just throwing me under the bus about this one.
I love you.
But all right. So that's our number 3. High damage attacker in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We're going to move along to our number 2 high damage attacker in this game. And it is none other than Chewbacca himself. Okay, so Chewie is... I mean, you know, there's a lot to say about him. Okay, he's got, you know, obviously calls in. He's called in for assist all the time. He's, you know, got the ability to... with his Zeta, you know, basically ignore ability block, and is it stun? No, buff is a ability block and
cooldown increase.
Cooldown increase. Okay, and you know, he does a ton of damage. He can basically revamp an entire rebel team and or a you know, a scoundrel team. I mean, you could put him on there with, you know, with CLS and C-3PO, and put together like a really nice squad. He hits really hard, and I mean, we were just facing a Chewie team with C-3PO and CLS a few minutes ago earlier in the stream, and I mean, even though, you know, obviously they weren't able to take out my Revan team, they did a lot of damage, and they almost took out a couple characters. That team has become significantly better. Obviously, on defense, they're not going to do a ton against a high-level Revan team, but on offense, you can definitely do well and you know, beat a lot of teams in arena.
Well, he does max health based damage. It doesn't matter how much protection they have. It doesn't matter how much defense they have. It doesn't matter if they have buff immunity. It doesn't matter. He's going to do percentage. He's going to do his physical damage first. And then he's going to do an additional max health based damage. So every time he attacks, he's basically like letting it expose and popping every single time he attacks, which is huge. You know, in the raid, like the exposed damage did get nerfed a bit when the raid came out, but he still does pretty significant damage. It's the white numbers that you see, you know, especially, you know, against some of these Bastila teams, like the Bastila leads, that the people stack the health to get the more protection. He's just going to chew through those characters. So he doesn't do much physical damage per se. You do have to try pretty hard to get him to hit hard, but it's just that max health damage, especially on his AoE. That's he AoEs all five of your enemies. He's going to do physical damage too, and then do max health based damage too. It's huge damage. Just a great character. And a lot of fast characters you can put that guarded on. You can put it on CLS pretty fast. Leia's pretty fast. You know, you can put it. Obviously, Han's going to have it. There's a lot of nice options that you can make guarded to really get the most bang for your buck in terms of using Chewbacca. But
yeah, no, I agree. It's a character that you can, you know, get a lot of value out of. He definitely hits really hard. And he's, again, he's a character that if you're not going to, if you're not going to utilize him inside one of those teams, he's very faction specific. He's not really a character that you're going to want to utilize in as a 5th and a 6th team, or on a Rage Jedi training team. At least I think so. Please try Jin lead with Rebels. Wow. So yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, I think that he's definitely a great addition, and definitely a high damage attacker. What are your guys' thoughts? Ranger, Abby?
I think he's disgusting. You guys broke it down. I don't really.
Yeah.
He hits hard. He hurts. He can rip your arms off and beat you to death with them. What more do you need to say? That's why you don't make the Wookiee angry.
It's true. All right,
I agree. I like him. I've got him set up for. Oh man, he hits so hard. I love it.
But yours is only Gear 11, so we want to fail again. I'm just reading what you had to say.
Listen, I did. He was.
I don't get it. It doesn't even bother. I didn't even notice or care until someone said something like.
He was like Gear 4 2 weeks ago. Okay,
so there.
Okay, I mean, I didn't have him 7-star yet, so I was waiting till I got him done, and then now I'm actually in the middle of. He's a favorite. You can see I clicked him off as a favorite, so I'm working on him. He's gonna be done soon. But that's our number 2 attacker in the game. Yeah, moving along to our number 1 attacker, high damage attacker, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, we have the Wampa. So,
what?
Why is the Wampa here, Maurice?
Well, he does disgusting damage. Stacks his offense, put that Zeta on him with the dots, especially now. We've got all these like dot mechanics coming out. He's only gotten better in a PvP situation. You got Zalbar, you got Mission, you got Karth, you've got somebody else I'm probably forgetting. Put him under Vader lead, the old Vader lead trick that does it awesome. Builds his just self-buffing, countering character. Got an AoE that does good damage with daze. He is a fantastic. We talk about Young Han being a good raid character. He is even better than Young Han. Just an all-around fantastic, just damage dealing unit. Does nothing else. He just is there for damage. So it can get pretty tanky once he starts stacking the protections. Very susceptible to like expose and like plague type damage. But I mean, every character has their weakness. But this character is, over the course of a battle, is going to deal you good damage, especially if you put him under a Rex lead or find some way to feed him extra turn meter so he can use that. I guess it's the Furious Foe. Is that the one he self buffs himself? You really get that.
Yes.
Get that offense growing. So.
Mm-hmm.
He does a ton of damage. I mean, like really, really sick damage. I mean, he gets the counterattack. Yes, that is potency mods because he sticks AoE days.
No, potency's fine. I'm not making fun of the potency mods.
Potency's right, yeah, but I was thinking he was just the opposite because he's got 1 speed mod, but aren't you supposed to have 4 to make it? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sure there's a reason for that. We'll listen. We'll dissect that another time. As far as that goes, overall, I think he's a great character. He's got that Zeta, I believe the one that I have on him, he gets increased. It has something to do with dots, right? Let me see.
He gets extra counter chance, health steal. Maybe crit chase. He gets a whole bunch of offensive abilities, plus the health steal. The health steal is important because he's got a decent sized health protection pool, but I guess his armor, maybe his resistance is pretty low. He's relatively easy to kill once you get him under control.
Mm-hmm.
So
10% counter chance, 5% health steal, 5% offense for each damage over time effect on enemy. So I actually was theory crafting like a Vader Zeta team with him and maybe Sidious and some other damage over time guys. I'm still thinking about it with like Canderous and Now, I've always wanted like a really solid damage over time team. A dot team sounds like it would be pretty cool, but
well, I had a heroic AAT raid the other day, so I just was for what I would put in. Just what I asked somebody, what do they want me to put in there? So I put in CLS, Herman Yoda, Wampa, BB-8, C3PO. Put it on auto. Worked on my D&D stuff. Forgot that I had done it. Came back. It was still going. It was in phase 2. I was like, oh crap! Forgot I was doing this. Oh, Wampa's doing a gajillion damage. Well, look at you go, little buddy. So that's a team that want to just solo raids. There you go. Oh my god, Wampa does so much damage. It's ridiculous.
He does.
I forgot I even had it on there because I was talking with someone in Discord. I'm like, and so yeah, so we'll do this with this character and this, and someone's, aren't you doing a raid right now? Oh crap! I thought I was going to be dead. No, still going. I was like, well, all right.
That's crazy. Yeah, some people do that, and then they finish out the whole raid, and then everybody gets upset about it. You know, but
well, not for hack. Come on, you can't get upset about hack.
You'd be surprised. Some people out there are pretty meticulous. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's cool. But that's our number one attacker in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We do have an honorable mention as usual, and this week's honorable mention is Resistance Trooper.
But
Maurice, explain.
Well, I was tempted to put First Order TIE Pilot here, but we went with Resistance Trooper. Just kidding, man. Resistance Trooper, you look at him, and his base damage is not phenomenal, but he goes so often. It doesn't matter if you put him on a Zeta Finn team, it doesn't matter if you put him on a Ray team. Excuse me. He's going to do massive amounts of damage simply because he goes so often. He needs no speed, so you can put an offense cross on him, you can put an offense arrow on him, and you can really get him going and delivering, you know, consistent 15 to 20k damage, you know, essentially every turn, every other turn. He really generates a lot of damage. I know in P1 of the Sith raid, Resistance Trooper is usually my highest damage dealer out of the whole lot, just because he's going so often. Very, 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 very good character. He's got the Dispel on his special, which will be, you know, essentially refreshed every time he goes if you're playing it right. So, you know, he does have Expose on his basic, which generates even more damage. This is maybe surprising to some, but this character, once you guys get him Gear 12, you know, maybe put that bayonet on him and give him some, you know, good offense, crit chance, heavy mods, or potency for PvP. You will want some potency. You mod him up right, and he will generate a lot of damage for your team. But we're seeing teams in the arena now. We saw Finn on the meta report, and Resistance Trooper is a part of this team. You know, you got Zeta Finn lead, Han Solo leads first, shoots first, generates Expose, somebody pops, so Resistance Trooper gets to go immediately. So you're going to generate the Expose with Han Solo, and then Resistance Trooper is going to go second, which you can utilize his Dispel, get rid of the tank, and just go to town and really knock a team out quick. I mean, we're seeing these teams, the well-modded Finn teams, are taking out Revan teams before they even go. So this is and he's a key part. So this is a very good character to have, easy to gear, relatively easy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I made a video a few months back where, you know, you basically could just beat a Traya team with Finn lead, Poe, and Resistance Trooper alone, 3 versus 5 if you have the right mods on this team. Now, you're going to beat them with a lot of speed, but they can be a savior for you if you do have God mods in territory wars against some of those high-leveled Traya teams. And he's a high damage attacker. Now, with the addition of C3PO in this team that Maurice has kind of concocted with, you know, Finn lead, C3PO, Han Solo, Chewie, and Resistance Trooper, you can do a ton of damage and kind of manipulate the match, you know, with exposes on his basic. He could dispel. You know, he's got you know, the ability to you know, reduce his own cooldowns if he attacks a target with detrimental effects. So he's just a great character all around. And like Maurice said, he goes so frequently with those with that turn meter on expose that you know, the damage that he does, although it may not be the highest on a single attack, it can be insane over the course of a match. But that's our top 5 attackers in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. If you do like that kind of thing, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications when we go live. And when I drop content like this, we will put up a top 5 later this week. So stay tuned for that. Also, Ranger and I have another character review coming out this week, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be going now to some more gameplay, and we're going to start our Q&A segment here. So for those of you that have any questions that you'd like to have asked on the stream, any topics you'd like to discuss here on the stream, now is the time. Type it into the chat, and we'll go ahead and discuss that here before the end of the show.
All right, we kind of knocked out DSP's questions here, the one he super chatted, and we did those as we went along. Let's see. The first question comes from Stonewall. This came at the very beginning of the stream. If we lose crew, what's the best first order team for offense and defense?
TIE Fighter pilot.
I tell you what, we've been making jokes all night, but yeah, it's gonna be for offense. Unless you guys have 25 Phasma Zetas, it's going to be an offensive team now. You will use Phasma, First Order Executioner, who we mentioned, who is absolutely phenomenal under Phasma, because he's going to assist. He's got a chance to assist and build his max health, generating even more damage over the course of a battle. First Order TIE Pilot is actually a good slot in here for that team because he can assist and he can double tap. He still does good damage. We were making fun of Rebon a few minutes ago, but he is a good fit for this team. And then you'll want, your Stormtrooper and then your Kylo, your old Kylo, to facilitate the turn meter, because this team is slow. So you will want to use it on offense so you can kind of control who you target, because you're not going to have a chance to really mess up. It's a difficult team. And a lot of us haven't used Phasma in a long time, so you might want to maybe practice a little bit in Galactic War or something, brush the dust off, and really kind of clock that team properly. Because I don't remember exactly. I think, is Crew on the same thing as Bosk? I feel like Crew was on there with another really instrumental leader.
Crew is on a node with his ship, the silencer.
The TW elimination pole or whatever. That's what I meant. Like he's on there with somebody else.
I don't remember who. Yeah.
So there's a good chance we're not going to have Crew, which is silly, but it's going to be Phasma lead, and you're going to want First Order Officer, and you'll see. Like I was fooling around with it. That 30 speed that you don't get anymore from that crew lead, that you can really tell the difference. You can't go first with First Order Officer as often. So you'll probably want to put a hefty amount of speed on First Order Officer. Excuse me. It's going to be tough. I'm not really sure exactly what team you're going to want to use it against, because it's been a while. I like it a lot, Phasma leading 3 versus 3, but I'm a little rusty myself. 5 versus 5. I'm not sure exactly what team you can take out. It'd have to be somebody slower, but we'll see. Anyone else have suggestions for First Order teams without Crew?
TIE Fighter pilot.
He's in there.
I kind of agree with Maurice. I mean, I think the only other option really is a Phasma lead. I think that eventually we'll get some other options there with some new additions when this movie drops a little bit later on this year. I think as we get into Star Wars Mania with the release of a new saga film, we'll probably get some new additions to the game, probably some new First Order additions. So those characters will likely include Supreme Leader Snoke, I think, and I think that we'll see some other leader that's a First Order leader get added to the game, and that might be cool. And that's really where I'm getting at, is I think that we may get somebody that kind of changes the viability of First Order altogether. So And that'd be interesting because again, it would be nice to see them actually have a viable leader, and especially if it's one that uses the Force and has some synergy there. Man, this really annoying.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if okay, we got some questions here. I got some questions here. All right, next question comes from Jose Garcia. How soon after the OT Falcon do y'all think we'll get some new capital ships? I'm praying for, not praying, but I am eagerly hoping for a new capital ship, as I've just decided to completely neglect this Mace meta that we're currently in. Just trying to save all my resources in hopes that we get a new capital ship. You know, they've got to get one out soon. I mean, you think they're going to want to put eventually 2 fleets. They can't put 2 fleets in this Grand Arena yet because there's not enough ships. Or I mean, if you put 2 ships on defense, that means you get 1 shot at each, right? There's just simply that's not. I mean, they make us do unrealistic things in this game a lot, but that is really, really unfair and silly if they make us field 2 ships. It gives us an extra capital ship. There are enough ships in the game to field 5 teams, so that would be an option. Which one it will be, I don't know. It could be that Newt Gunray ship that was data mined 2 years ago. Who knows? A lot of people think it's going to be Grievous. You know, it might be some sort of bounty hunter. You mentioned Snoke, Ramon, a few minutes ago. That would give the First Order a fleet commander, perhaps Snoke or General Hux, something like that. I think we're getting one within the next probably 6 months, would be my guess. I'm hoping.
For sure.
And, let's see. Nathaniel Morgan. Why am I still farming Jolie and Zalbar?
For Revan.
You'll get Revan. You'll like it, young man.
1 for Revan. 2, they're actually pretty good.
3, Revan.
Well, if you get Revan, you definitely want Jolie. Zalbar is arguably...
He's really good, too.
Yeah, he's arguably 1B best light side tank, him and Kenobi. I mean, even if you don't use them on a scoundrel team, he's still...
Mission and Zalbar are nasty.
They're good.
Yeah.
I actually use them in that 3v3, like, I use them with Rex Lead, and they do great. You know what I'm saying? And I also use them in GA on the 5v5 with Rex Lead and like Wampa, and I mean I put together like some hodgepodge teams there, and it works out.
Okay, let me ask you guys now: when Revan comes back, and somebody asked this earlier, so we can just go into that. When Revan comes back, do you think will we be able to use these new Old Republic characters like Karth, Giovanni? Do you think they'll be?
I don't
do you
think
think
so,
they'll be
because
included?
it's heroic. It's heroic. It's a hero's journey. So it'll be the same ones, just like with Luke and stuff. They didn't.
Okay. So it has to be those specific. Yeah. Okay. So let's say I don't have Revan and I wailed out and got a 7-star Giovanni. I will not be able to use her.
No,
I don't think so. No.
Specific characters for the hero. It's if it had been just a regular legendary, maybe, but a hero's journey, it's specific characters that you go through and do the little scenarios and stuff.
Now, somebody asked it. I lost who did. I apologize, but they asked, when do we think that the Revan event will be coming back?
Either now or March. Sometimes between now and March. That's it. That's the best guess you can give.
My opinion is like end of February.
End of February sounds good. So, I mean, if you guys don't have those characters, just get them, because I don't remember, I think it was TMoney that on the stream made the point that these faction packs this time around might include these. If you're just buying simply Old Republic faction packs, they might include the Giovannis, the Karths, which would be nice for some, but as Ranger just mentioned, if you need the 5 specific ones, it's not going to be very helpful. So that's something to consider. Just, you guys have had plenty of time to get them. Still, I mean, we still have these 8 hard node attacks a day. You can still refresh for 25 crystals. There's no guarantee that's going to remain a thing. So utilize those, while you can. If you guys are still farming those characters, Ranger said it. Mission and Zalbar are awesome together. Jolie, has zero standalone value, but with Revan, with any Jedi team, he's great. You know, Basila's good, obviously. So, and then the droid. Yes, the droid is phenomenal, but you really need to have a very specific team for him. We'll see how he comes into play under Karth. That'll be interesting. But let's see what else we got. This question comes from good old Maurice. Gom gets heckled each week for wearing a hat. He left his on the rack tonight, and Remon shows up wearing a hat, representing Hurley.
Okay.
That
wasn't really a question. That was me being silly earlier. These meds have really got me loopy.
Yeah. You know, I decided to wear a hat just because my hair is not as flowy and gorgeous as your Fabio hair that you have. But
yes, my Fabio 2 o'clock in the morning hair.
But no, you're right. I should if I'm giving you a hard time about wearing a hat, I shouldn't wear a hat. So
I'm kidding, man. That was a joke. Hans Omar von Harold Duarte. When will we see Jabba the Hutt? Will we ever see him in the game?
Oh. I know that laugh. Not for.
McFly wants to see Jin lead, so okay, we'll go.
Yes,
with
please, Jiminy Christmas. He wants to see it bad.
Okay.
That's on hope. There you go. Get your Jin fix on.
Yeah.
We'll put some Jin lead out there.
Yeah, Jin's good. You got the Zeta on her?
I got a Zeta on her. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. It is good. It's very, very good offensively, especially for Grand Arena. Jin's going to be very, very good for Grand Arena because she's going to generate lots of exposes. But she's going to give a lot of protection back to your team.
And she can rest.
I put a Zeta on Jin back when I thought that they were still going to be good in Arena. This is like when the tournaments were still around. I put a Zeta on Jin. But lo and behold, that was a mistake. I also have a Zeta. I also have a Zeta on Cassian and a Zeta on
K2SO.
K2SO. Let's not talk about the K2SO Zeta.
Well, hey, I've got one on Farm Boy Luke. Potato.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Let's see. The Star Kai. What is the counter to Kira mission Big Z Goggles L3 without the 28 characters on the chopping block?
It's called Oops, I Cried Black Pants.
Well, I mean, I personally like Palpatine to counter that team.
Yeah.
Palpatine and Thrawn.
Unless they're gone.
Yes, if they're gone, I don't know, man. Probably the Ewoks would be a terrible.
Unless Chirpers and stuff is gone.
Oh yeah, that's. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I'm so used to using one or two teams.
I know, right?
You really just, yeah. I mean, I guess you could really sub in any defense team there. It's like, how do you beat meta teams without meta characters? Oh boy, get them Jawas ready. Get your Farm Boy Luke ready. Jin lead actually would not be.
I think Jin lead
against that team. I guess you could just keep your Kira team.
Jin lead will probably dominate this TW.
Perhaps, yeah. Very, very well could be the case. I mean, I guess you could use Zeta Finn, Rey. I mean, I don't know. What'll be really interesting is if we don't get BB-8. It'd be really interesting to see how people use Rey without BB-8.
The worst part about Jin and Lead and Cassian and all them is that that they are never going to pay attention ever again to any of these Rogue One characters. Like, they're not going to get any reworks. They're not going to get any love. Like, they have Zetas already. They are done. Whatever they are now, that's the way they're gonna. When this game is done, that's the way they're gonna be. So it's like what a poor investment.
Well, I mean, you got a really good Cassian ship, and that is, if this Mace meta sticks around, I mean, that is something that you have that Doherty don't. So it's not terrible.
That's true.
Kind of back on the Jabba the Hutt thing from Hans again. What will come first, Jabba the Hutt or General Grievous rework?
Oh.
General Grievous.
Now we'll
rework,
see.
yeah.
Oh, let's see, make sure I didn't miss any here. Now we've got the last few. Top 5 most underrated terrible Zetas. I'm not sure how Zeta can be terrible
Talk
but
about
underrated.
it, an oxymoron. Underrated, terrible Zetas. Okay. So underrated, terrible Zetas. That's a contradiction.
Cassian K2SO.
Like, what's your favorite? Good poop?
Farboy lead, yes. Furious for Chewie, he said. Vader unique, yeah. Vader unique's not too great. Darth Nihilus unique, that's one I never really liked. A lot of people do, so maybe that's an underrated, terrible one.
What about?
I don't really understand that question.
What about a Bodhi Rook Zeta?
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
I would say that one's almost overrated.
That's probably overrated.
Yeah. Let's see. Blah 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 blah.
Clone Chewie.
Clone Wars Chewbacca.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was good.
I forget
After that
Zeta.
rework, I will admit that I had at one point accidentally Zeta'd the wrong Chewie.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
No, the
so mad.
other Chewbacca. Damn it!
I was so mad. I was on a voice chat too, and I'm like cussing up a storm and everything else, and they're like, "Oh my God, we didn't know you knew those words."
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
To
Good.
scan the chat here. We got one last question from Hans again. Basically asking the characters that have 3 Zetas, which are the ones that you don't need?
You don't need CLS leader.
CLS is
Revan, you need all 3. You want to do all 3.
Yeah, you need all 3 on it. Yeah, there's no.
I would say that one for Rey Jedi training, it would be that one that cleanses herself. Would probably be the one that you don't need.
Yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, it's good, but it's not.
Well, it's redundant because you're going to have
Yeah.
R2D2.
Right.
So
Unless you don't have his, then
yeah, and CLS, you definitely want binds all things. I don't even think the other 2 are really mandatory. The lead used to be, but
that other unique where he gives himself additional protection, additional tenacity, and what is it, crit avoidance?
that's the one I don't have. I'm not even sure what that does.
That one's actually pretty good. I mean, like, you know, for like it kind of increases that defensive mode that he has. It's I'll tell you right now, it's while Luke does not have call to action, he has plus 50% crit avoidance and plus 100% tenacity. That's pretty sick. That Zeta's worth it. But I would say the leader you could definitely pass on. But I mean, you know, if you're gonna get one and you have to have one only, it binds all things is absolutely the only one that you absolutely have to have.
hey, they're saying you're running the wrong team, Raymond.
I'm running the wrong team. What team am I supposed to be running?
In Discord, it looks like you're supposed to be running Jin with 3PO, Han, Chewie, and R2.
Okay, Jin with 3PO.
Han, Chewie, and R2.
Han, Chewie, and R2. Okay.
There you go.
That's actually a pretty interesting, because of the expose on the leader. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, then I guess if we're talking like Grand Arena TW, if you wanted to run this, you could run your CLS with Baze, Churret, and I don't really know who you'd use though. Maybe
Baze, Churret, you could go. I'll go crazy good Biggs Wedge.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you'd almost have to.
You could actually go Wedge lead with that team.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Yeah.
The counters would be pretty nice with CLS. So, but that could be a team you could run.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 exposes there on Tarkin from that barrage of attacks. That's pretty nasty.
A plethora of exposes.
Wow, somebody else who knows what the word plethora means.
I do.
All right, awesome.
I've watched Blazing, the Three Amigos.
Is that what it's from? Because man, it's been years since but yeah, it's just something I see.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas? Sí, señor. I would say that you have a plethora.
I'll have to watch the movie again. It's been years since I've seen it.
All right, we got one last question that just trickled in from Josue Garcia. When do y'all think we'll get Darth Revan, and what does he need to do to take down Jedi Knight Revan as the meta? Excuse me, sorry guys.
He has the ability to make the version of Jedi Knight Revan disappear from the game altogether. That should be his first ability. And it should be called the Real Revan.
Well, he's gonna. I mean, clearly, just if you use the context clues from some of these characters we've been getting, they all have some sort of bonus against death marked or marked targets. So I'd imagine there's going to be some element of death mark on him and possibly mark. So, you know, if they do the dark side Revan the same as the Bastila, then it's just going to be the opposite, probably what Revan does. Which I can see them doing. It's kind of not very creative, but they kind of hinted at it with this Dark Side Bastila. Because she's basically the same character as Jedi Bastila. Excuse me, just flipped around. So we'll see. I mean, he's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll have to be something pretty simple. The thing is that there's so many good Sith already now that, you know, just adding something to kind of take her with the Sith Triumvirate synergy, so that he could just lead them. Maybe some sort of a synergy between him, a synergy between him and like Darth Malak, kind of like the Danger Zone, where they work together and just do a lot of damage with each other. That would be pretty cool.
Okay, and then one more from Abdurdoon. Hold on, I missed it here. Okay. When will Ramon start using the faction filter instead of constantly scrolling through his characters?
Leave that man alone. He likes to find his characters where he does.
Abner actually tagged me and wanted me to go back and find his question. So I apologize, Ramon.
Hey,
that's all right. I mean, listen, we could have skipped that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes I like doing that. Sometimes I like to just do it the old-fashioned way. But yeah, listen, you know, scrolling through your character, sometimes you see some things that are interesting. You know, you look there, you're like, oh, well, I'll try this guy out.
Indeed.
But I think we're gonna call it a stream here, guys. We're getting kind of late here. It's 2:30 in the morning Eastern time. I know, you know, Ranger and Maurice both have work tomorrow. And, you know, we've been on here for a little while now. We are going to be back next Sunday, as usual, with the Alliance Live show number 80. So we're getting ever closer to episode 100. Looking forward to that. We'll definitely try to do something special for that when we get there. But you know, we're looking forward to a week with maybe some more information about what's going on with Territory Wars. Maybe some more information about what's going on with the Millennium Falcon, and maybe some more information about what's going on with Finn and whether they're going to nerf his leader ability or they're going to nerf the raid. Hopefully we'll get some info about all that stuff before the next show so we can discuss it. Either way, you can expect some videos from us over the next few days. Again, I have a video coming out with me and Ranger doing a character review of Visa Smar, so stay tuned for that. Also have a top 5 video that we're going to be dropping this week, and some other content as well from these guys. So again, check out good old Maurice's stream with TMoney on Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Operation Metaverse's YouTube channel. They do the live show every week on Tuesday nights called The Galaxy's Edge, so stay tuned for that on Tuesday. Also, make sure to check out Ranger stream the following night on Wednesday night at, I believe, 8 p.m. Ranger or 9 p.m.?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern time with Ranger Infinity as they continue the longest running live show in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on Wednesday nights. And then you can also check us all out, me, Ranger, Warrior, TMoney, sometimes good old Maurice when he's available, and a host of others on Saturday mornings on the Reality Skewed Gamers channel for the Jedi Academy live stream that we do on Saturday mornings. So stay tuned for that. But again, I want to thank everybody for sticking it out with us here. Hope everybody had a happy new year, and we look forward to happy, healthy, and wonderful 2019, and we'll keep the hits coming. But may the force be with you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.